this to me himself.
God has a funny way of showing you lessons.
Let's loop it one time.
He took at least 9 that we know about. And I'm not speculating because he told this to me himself.
God has a funny way of showing you lessons.
He took at least 9 that we know about. And I'm not speculating because he told this to me himself.
God has a funny way of showing you lessons.
He took at least.
God has a funny way of showing you lessons. Hey, Tank, that's Eric Roberson, and he's from your area. He went to Howard University. He's from the DMV area. I want you to listen to that intro to just the first 45 seconds. It's called Lessons by Eric Roberson. Listen to that. I know you're gonna check this podcast out at some point, somewhere, one of your friends. And it was great seeing Lorenzo Simpson pop in real quick. I'm glad he's doing well. He looked in good shape. You know what I mean? I'm really, really happy for that. And Checks and Balances is out. 9 Wives, you know, Fred over here doing big things, and we live from the Hawthorne Estate, man. And I love the conversation if it had turned into a conversation. Coach Calvin Ford, shut up, man. We appreciate it. I'm not saying it out of disrespect. I'm saying it out as, are you interviewing Tank or are you telling him about how you feel about him? And the DMV area is one of the toughest areas. Freddie Gray comes to mind. CNN, I remember the mom with the little boys, and she beat the hell out of her kids on CNN. She was mom of the year. Beautiful thing. I've been to the DMV area numerous times. Tough area. I had a chance to listen to new boxing media. Always new boxing media today. New media boxing today. And there was a gentleman, Thugger U, something that called in. And he was annoying because he wouldn't let Coach Williams talk. But he talked about how Tank is their hope. And Tank, if you get a chance, go to new boxing media today and reach out to him, because I want you to fully grasp and understand what you mean to that region. You know what I mean? You are many of those kids' hope. And this is why I'm hard on Devin Haney and Tank Davis. This is why I'm getting goosebumps on my arms, because I was a school teacher for 7 years, and I told you guys from day one of my podcast, Tank Davis reminds me of my students. And I know if I let up one day with those kids, and I'm serious, if I let up one day, they PO could be coming to visit the school. They could be getting arrested. So I held them accountable. And they're like, why are you so hard on me? It's the only way to be. And I'm going to hold Tank Davis accountable. And I don't care what the outside noise. I don't care, man. I personally don't care. I don't have to ever interview Tank Davis again, but I know I spent a lot of time with Tank Davis. A lot of time. And I know where he's at, and I know how he accepts, how he intakes people's criticism of him. He doesn't care. He's going to respond to you with an honest, especially if it's one-on-one, he's going to respond with a thoughtful thought, with a thoughtful response. And I'm not going to not hold him accountable. I'm going to hold him accountable the same way I held Adrian Broner accountable. And that's why I said, when Adrian Broner get 40, we're going to have the greatest interview ever. We might have the greatest sports interview in the past 20 years. I'm telling you, God honest truth, because we're going to reflect, and he's going to, and we're going to open it up, and he's going to tell the stuff that I will never, ever experience about his side and his life. And we on different sides of the railroad tracks, you know, but that personal accountability he just didn't have. So I'm going to just say Calvin Ford, RIZE podcast. Y'all think I hate them. I'm hard on. I don't care what y'all think. I just believe in telling the truth. And the truth is, if y'all gonna do a podcast, invest in it. Get the camera stable. The camera shouldn't be changing levels. And do it for real, because it's very important that you reach maximum capacity with your podcast. And um, um, and ask questions. Don't think you know the answer to the person you're interviewing questions, because I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because there's a 17-year-old kid selling weed in Baltimore right now. Guaranteed. He's a huge Tank Davis fan. Guaranteed. And when you talked about being baptized, how did Tank Davis get to that point? Was there a moment in his life? Is his mom baptized? Is his children baptized? Has he ever seen any other one get baptized? When was the last time you've been to church consistently? Why did you stop going to church? Why are you Christian? Did you ever desire to be Muslim? Um, um, what are your silent thoughts? What are your fears? Tank was vulnerable. Whenever a 27-year-old man that's worth millions talk about being baptized, you got him. You got him. It was a very important conversation that didn't get had. Coach Calvin Ford just kept talking. I wanted to cut it off. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to cut it off, but I'm sitting there waiting on Tank to respond, like double dutch, like I'm waiting, you know. And Tank Davis, and here's what I do know. Coach Kenny said, if you ever need anyone to talk about something, call me. Tank is literally in this world. I'm gonna do a separate video on this by himself. Tank is literally in this world by himself. Al Heyman's not helping him. Floyd Mayweather's not helping him. And he doesn't correspond with his team outside of being trained. Tank is like $1 million Mohican. The last of the Mohicans. Gotta watch it. And he's figuring it out. I love the redemption story in his mother, similar to my mother. I'm not gonna let the gas off Tank. I don't give a fuck what the outside noise think. I know I'm living proof that accountability works. I'm doing this podcast from my home in my office. Who cares what it's worth? It's mine. And I don't know if you ever gonna get Tank back there again. You know, I've had Tank like that twice. I remember I asked him about disrespecting Deontay Wilder, fight like a girl, and I had him in Baltimore. It was the whole world around us. Go back and watch that interview and it's just me and Tank. The whole world is there, and it's just Tank and I. I remember I bumped into Tank at the Ritz-Carlton downtown LA, and I called him the ugliest shoes he ever had. He said, but they cost $1,000. I don't give a fuck how much they cost. They ugly. He said, I ain't got no style. I don't have style, Tank. I don't. It's gone, man. I don't know where it went, but it's gone now. I'm a shorts and sweater. Like, I feel lost if I ain't got a hoodie on. You know what I mean? You know, but I root for Tank Davis. I root for Devin Haney. I want those young men to win. And at the end of the day, my message may come off as negative and condescending. And some of that is intentional, and some of that is Tank is filthy rich. Every time he walks out of his house, he's a hero. And I know now I have confirmation he's literally doing this on his own. I mean, he can ask Al for money, but he has no one like he can confide in, it seems like. Because if he's not confiding in Coach Calvin and Coach Kenny, there's no one else that knows him better in boxing that I've seen personally. And he has lapses too, you can tell, you know, with that bullshit with the girl. That's not acceptable to me. And I don't know why media let him off with that. You don't put your hands on a woman. And he'll have his day in court, and that whatever the jury decide is what the jury decide. But I'm gonna tell you another thing, Tank, and I've been saying this for the past 2 years since COVID started. That baptism needs to be public, not intentionally public. Play the game, make it seem like it's not you doing it because you got a trial case coming up. Remember, you rejected the DA's deal. This month, by the end of August, you should be baptized. You got a case coming up in September, right? Hopefully they come up with a deal. I shouldn't say hopefully because you get what you deserve, but let the cards fall where they may. And yeah, man. I just wish Coach Calvin Ford would have just be quiet. Just stop. You had Tank in the most vulnerable state he's been in. And that conversation, you know what I mean? Because no disrespect to the media, but they want to hear about him and little baby. They don't want to hear about him and a little baby in the manger named Jesus. They don't. So who's walking out to your next fight? You should get Kirk Franklin to come out. You should get Molly Music to come out. Trust me. Change the game. And be consistent. You ain't got to be perfect. Perfect intentions. And I like the accountability. But Tank, you need somebody to confide in. You really do. I know LaRon. Haven't spoke to him in years. I know him. I know Coach Ken. I've never spent time with Coach Kenny. Never only had 3 conversations with Coach Calvin Ford. I don't know who you confide in. Maybe it's Coach Cunningham. Maybe you need to reach out to Coach Cunningham. AB maybe. But you may see AB as your brother, And yeah, confide in somebody. That's why I wish I can call Tank once a month. I really do. For moments like this. Because I don't really care about how rich you are. I don't give a fuck. And I wish you well, Tank. I wish you well. Keep growing, keep going. And that's going to be a popular question now about you getting baptized, because they're going to over sensationalize it now, and Showtime is going to figure out a way to kind of monetize it. They're going to tell you, don't do it yet. Let's do it for the what's that movie? What's that shit called? 24 Access. They're going to say, don't do it yet. Don't do it. Do it before your trial, man. And step in front of your career. Stop letting Floyd talk for you. Stop letting Floyd dominate your press conferences. Do it in a respectful manner. Not no nigga this, nigga that. But you've never really been that guy. You only say nigga and that shit when you get excited and you start. Yeah, you don't really like, you're not really that like, you're not like that. I use nigga more than you. But yeah, I genuinely wish you well. And I'm gonna hold you accountable all the way through. So this is gonna be a love-hate relationship throughout your career. And I wish I can talk to Tank once a month. Like when my tenants pay their bills, pay their rent, I'm like, call Tank. You know what I mean? Because it's important, because I don't really care about the pizzazz. I want him accountable to who he is. I want him accountable to his purpose. He's the only man in boxing in America that has sold out at Barclay, Atlanta, LA. Vegas is next. He's the only fighter I know. I'm not saying he makes the biggest gate. They got to make the prices in accordance to his fan base. Wilder probably brought in the most money. But you got a fan base that boxing's never seen before, man. And I've seen the evolution in you. Like that clip of Earl Spence and Tank Day. I was at Earl Spence's first fight. I was at Deontay Wilder's 7th or 8th fight. He was in a 4-rounder at StubHub. I forget. It was some. I forget. It's been so long. You got to look at Box Rec. Earl Spence walked in his dressing room and said, "I'm a family man now." Beautiful. That's the only thing that's the most important to me is being a father. And lastly, here's what we got to ask ourselves about marriage and baptisms. We do all this before our kids are born, right? That's what God says, right? And our kids never seen us get baptized, never seen us get married, stuff like that. Ask yourself this. Do your kids need to see you get baptized and or married again so they can see it? I know they see it in the house, but do they see it? Anyways, barbershop conversations, man. You guys have a great day, man. 9 Wives, Checks and Balances, great film of the year. Oh man, look at all the awards we've won. Appreciate it. Coach Cal, man. Let the person talk, man. And put the camera on a tripod, man. And y'all put y'all sit together, man. Rise Podcast. All right, I'm rooting for y'all. Hopefully more of my subscribers go over to your podcast, RIZE podcast, and I want them to do well. They do something that I can't do. They can get Tank Davis. I'm gone, y'all.
He took at least 9 that we know about. And I'm not speculating because he told this to me himself.
God has a funny way of showing you lessons.
He took at least 9 that we know about. And I'm not speculating because he told this to me himself.
God has a funny way of showing you lessons.
He took at least 9 that we know about. And I'm not speculating because he told this to me himself.
God has a funny